Well, welcome to Ready Steady Play. Today we're playing Guilds of London. I'm here with Danny and Barry,
Hello.
who you may recognize from our Mystic Vale playthrough.
Yeah, take the camera.
We've also got Ted with us today.
Say hi, Ted. Hi.
Oh, God.
What is Guilds of London, Mike?
So, as far as I understand, Guilds of London is an Ameritrash game where we control armies of mechs vying for control of
gonna fall off the end.
future Japan.
Correct. Apart from everything you said.
Okay. Well, why don't you tell us about it, Barry? Because clearly I've misunderstood.
Guilds of London is a worker movement game, slightly different from worker placement game, in as much as you're not vying for abilities on a spot, but you're moving your workers around in order to control certain areas. None of us have played it before, so hopefully we'll get the rules right. But we'll get set up and...
So my understanding in the 3-player game is that the board essentially comprises of a series of guilds, and the guilds offer different rewards for sort of controlling them.
Yes.
And as we play, the number of guilds on the table will grow, and we'll be seeking to sort of move our workers around onto these guilds in order to control them, and when enough workers are there, the guilds will activate, conferring rewards.
Should do. Yeah, that sounds right.
Good, so I seem to have understood correctly. Kitten optional.
Yeah. Does not come with the game.
So why don't we unpack the game here and see what's in the box?
We don't have a lot of space. Well, let's see how far we get. Right, let's check out the main board there. Move this back a little. So there's two sides of the board, one for 2 players, where... Careful. Where things only activate every second turn. But for 3 players, or 4 players, which is what we're playing, guilds will activate every turn. I'm going to put this just at the top there. And then we're going to need a few basic cards, that or tiles, that start your setup. This can go at the side. And if we start fishing out a few of the tiles, we'll set up the game. Now, there should be 3 grey tiles in there. Just start pulling them out, yeah. So none of these. There we go. So we've got the Guildhall of London, which starts the rotation there. Bye. And then we also have the Plantation. Now we can choose, there's different rewards on different sides for the Plantation. We can either go pure victory points, or we can try for victory points and extra end game objectives. So does anybody have a preference? Should we start easy, or should we start a little bit more in?
Well, personally, I feel like we are advanced level players. Advanced gamers capable of handling...
It's not necessarily any more advanced playing it this way, it's just that you're not going to know your victory conditions ahead of time.
Wait, so this is...
This is going to give you some mayoral cards. Mayoral cards. And they are going to give you extra points at the end if you manage to fulfill the conditions. Whereas that one's just straight points immediately.
Right. No, I saw the mayoral cards, and I like the idea. So you're dealt 3 at the start, and then you choose 1, and each one has sort of bonus points for completing certain objectives.
That's right.
That actually really appealed to me, so let's do that.
Okay, so we'll have it on that side.
Because it's sort of what it does is it basically says, well, here's 3 different sort of strategies that you can adopt, and then we pick one that we quite like the look of. And we actually do that after the board's been set up as well, so we can sort of look at the board state, and I think even our hands before we choose. And sort of go, well, I've got these cards in my hand at the start, and this is what the board looks like, so I'm going to go with this. And what it sort of does is it helps you... I actually think it might even make the game easier, because it gives you sort of an idea of what your strategy might be at the start of the game, rather than the alternative, which is just everyone starting with set points, where it's like, well, now I have to develop a whole strategy on my own.
Yep. So this is you're going to still start with those, but you'll be able to pick up extra ones from the Plantation later in the game. So here we just mix all these up, and just put them in 2 separate piles there. And then we're going to build our first level. I don't know what it's actually called, but we'll just put tiles down.
It's 10, isn't it?
Effectively you get like a circuit's worth. So yeah. So we 4, 4, 2, yeah. So
but one of them is this one, which is...
So that's always the start one. The Church of St. Lawrence, what is it? Jury?
Gemry?
Jury.
Yeah, you're looking at it upside down. A W upside
I am.
down looks like an M. And this is your setup. Now every tile has a number in the bottom right hand corner signifying how important it is. Now the top, the closer to 1 you are, the more important you are. And the top 10 guilds have extra kind of bonuses for being the
So
best.
we've got number 8 out here already.
Yeah, and number 4.
And number 4.
Now here is, we have one special meeple that's going to get set up as well. I've broken that now, so let's not worry about it. He is the beadle.
Special bag.
Now the beadle counts as a worker for the purposes of meeting the requirements, and he starts on the lowest numbered guild. So then after next turn he's going to go to 8, then he'll go to 14, 17, 20, so on and so forth, as he moves around the game, the board. So here you require 4 workers in total from any player to claim this guild, or for this guild to activate. So there's enough members of that guild to activate, and the beadle counts as one of those members, even though he doesn't belong to a player.
Right.
Now there's also another...
He also has the cool hat, and none of the other meeples
And he's a
have
silver
cool hats.
meeple. Oh, one thing we've still to do. Whilst on the tile itself, it tells you what your first place prize is. So if you're the most, if you have the most members of that guild when it becomes a guild, then you get the first place prize. However, the
Exactly.
second place is more random. I'm going to put all these face down, shuffle them up a little.
And it's possible, isn't it, because the random nature of the setup for the second place, you might actually get a more desirable reward for second place than first, depending on
true.
your strategy.
You can get more points. For example, here you get 4 points for second and only 2 points for first. But you also get an additional bonus for moving. But yes, can be quite random. Now we'll need these later as the gameplay develops. So every third round we're going to add a little bit more to the board, so there's more guilds available for us to go to. So I'm just going to leave these over here, and that should be fine. Very important that we get as even stacks as possible. Then if you have the setup instructions there, Dan, I think you're right that we get 3 of these and choose one.
But are we not dealt our hand of cards first?
Now I said this is the first playthrough, so we'll probably go through the setup instructions. Now, do you have a compass on your phone?
I think I do.
Can you fire it up? This is an important part of the game. The compass points north, east, south and west, and depending on what way it's facing is going to be the start of the where the tiles come out. Ultimately you can just put it north, being on the tile as it is shown on there, but the game does suggest that you actually point it towards true north, so you get a little bit of variation there.
This is quite thematic as well, because we're also playing the game in London.
Yeah. So
Alright.
true north is pretty much bang on that way. So I'm going to set the compass so north is directly at the camera.
Nice.
There we go. So flavour win. I'm watching other board game channels, Mike. Don't hate me.
Flavor win. I don't get the reference.
Flavour win is from Inside the Box.
Inside the box.
Yeah. One of the guy only plays thematic games, so anytime it's a flavour win. Right. So how many of these do we get? 5. 5 to start.
Action cards 6.
So we get 6 of these.
Yeah.
Fine, so I'll deal those out, 6 to everybody. Now, the game's unique-ish, it's not unique at all actually, but the cards perform multiple actions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These can just go to the side here. On each card, and I'll just grab an example from the middle, you can do multiple things with it. One, you can play it for its action, which costs the number in the top left. Now, some are 0, some are 1. Oh, let's show that there. So this number here might cost 0, might cost 1. I don't think there's any cost 2s, but I've not played before, so I can't tell you. Similarly, you can spend it for its colour, which lets you move one of your workers to a tile or a guild of that colour. So green, at the moment, not that useful because there's only one green out here. But that would let you move one worker. Then when you pay the cost, you can activate the ability on the card. Now this game is very heavy on its iconography. There are 2 cheat sheets that we're going to be constantly referring to understand what everything does. But actually it does make a lot of sense. In this one I think it's move any number of workers from the plantation back to the guild hall. So this icon here, if you see it's a black sort of archway with workers in it, that is the guild hall icon, and you get 1 victory point for each one that you move back.
Makes sense.
Last part worth noting, at the top of the card is a banner thing with dots in them. That's how many of that card exist within the deck. So you will be able to somewhat track what's come out and what you can or can't do with the cards. Then how many of these do we get?
Get 3
3.
face down and keep 1.